Good morning, students. Yesterday we have learned about instantaneous velocity and velocity components. In the same way, we are going to learn today about instantaneous acceleration. Before we learn instantaneous acceleration, first we should know what is average acceleration. So, average acceleration is defined as the ratio of total velocity to the total time taken, the ratio between total velocity to the total time taken, or you can define average acceleration as ratio of change in velocity to the change in time taken. So I can just show here the definition of average acceleration. Average acceleration, a bar is equal to delta v by delta t, where delta v is change in velocity and delta t is the time taken for that change in velocity. Okay, this we have defined earlier also. Now, from this average acceleration, we are going to define what is instantaneous acceleration. Instantaneous acceleration, a vector, it is denoted by a vector, is equal to limiting value of average acceleration as time interval tends to 0. Recall once again, as we have defined instantaneous velocity. Instantaneous velocity is defined as limiting value of average velocity as time interval tends to 0. In the same way, velocity term is replaced by acceleration term. Instantaneous acceleration a vector is defined as limiting value of average acceleration as time interval tends to 0. So what is average acceleration? Delta v by delta t. So I have written limiting value of delta v by delta t as delta t tends to 0. In maths it is written as limit delta v by delta t as delta t tends to 0. And the meaning of this is also given by dv by dt, rate of change of velocity, dv by dt. So I will write the definition of instantaneous acceleration. Limiting value of average acceleration as time interval approaches 0 value. This is called as instantaneous acceleration. What is the meaning of this? Let us learn this meaning of limiting value of average acceleration as time interval approaches 0. Look at these graphical explanations. This is the path of the particle. A particle is in the xy plane. Okay, and this is the curved path of the particle. Now at point P, as we have learned yesterday, if we draw a tangent at point P, the tangent in the direction of motion drawn at that point P gives us instantaneous velocity. Let v1 be the instantaneous velocity at point P. I want to find out instantaneous acceleration. For that, first I am going to find out what is average acceleration. So, after some time t1, let it be at time t1, after some time t2, okay, at some time t2, let p dash be the position of the particle. So again, if you draw a tangent here, the tangent drawn in the direction of motion gives you velocity vector at this point p dash. So this gives you v2 vector. So v2 vector is the instantaneous velocity at this point p dash, and v1 vector is the instantaneous velocity at point p. So to find out average acceleration, I have to first find out change in velocity. So to find out change in velocity, look here. I am drawing the parallel vectors. v1 vector, parallel v1 vector here, and v2 vector, parallel v2 vector here, right? So I have drawn v1 vector parallel to v1 vector vector parallel, and this I got a vector diagram. This is the vector diagram. From this vector diagram, V2 minus V1 gives us delta V. Delta V I have taken it as delta V1 as V2 vector minus V1 vector. This is nothing but final velocity minus initial velocity. Final velocity at some time t2, initial velocity at some time earlier time t1. So this gives you the change in velocity. And see the direction of change in velocity. It is from this head to this head. So this is change in velocity delta V1. So I have drawn this parallel vector here. So this is the average. This is the change in velocity when the particle moves from P to P dash. The direction is given by this one. And if you divide this delta dV1 by the change in time delta t, this gives you average acceleration between P to P dash. Now next, I am reducing this time interval t2 minus t1. I am reducing this time interval delta t to smaller value. Say earlier, suppose this is 1 second. Now I am reducing it to half second. When I reduce it to half second, the position of the particle will be closer to this point P. So let P dash be the position of the particle after half second. Then again same vector V1 I have drawn, initial velocity vector V1 at point P, and draw a tangent at P dash. Tangent at P dash here. This gives you another velocity vector which is different from V2. Definitely it is another velocity vector different from V2. Let me call this one as V3 vector. Vector V3. Now again I want to find out change in velocity vector so that I can find out the average acceleration. So average acceleration here, if you call it as, suppose it is A1, here it is A2, then again I can define it as V3 vector minus V1 vector. So V3 vector, how I have drawn? Look at this. This is V3 vector. I have drawn parallel V3 vector, parallel to V3 vector, and V1 vector I have drawn here as earlier. So this gives me final velocity vector V3. This is initial velocity vector V1. So V3 minus V1 vector gives us the change in velocity for this reduced time interval. So here it is delta t equal to 1 second. Here it is, let us say delta t is reduced to 0.5 second. So again, if you divide this by the time delta t, this gives us average acceleration for time interval 0.5 second. So this delta v I am taking as delta v2 by delta t. So this gives us average acceleration 8. So next I am reducing this time interval still smaller value, reducing it to 0.1 second, let me say. Suppose it is reduced to 0.5 to 0.1 second. So the particle will be still closer here itself. When the time interval is reduced to just 0.1 second, the particle will be still closer to the point P. So again draw P tangent at P, that gives us V1 again, and at point P dash, see here, this is the point P dash which we have chosen. Draw a tangent at this point P in the direction of motion. This gives us V4 vector, different vector, different velocity other than V3, V4 vector. So this V4 at P dash, this is V1 at T. Now I want to find out again average acceleration. Average acceleration is found out by taking the change in velocity. So first I have to find out change in velocity. So draw the velocity diagram, vector diagram. Then V4 minus V1 gives us this direction delta V. Delta means change. So delta V3 now becomes V4 minus V1 divided by that change in time. Now it is reduced to still more smaller value, that is 0.1 second. So in this way, if you keep on reducing the time interval, next you reduce the time interval to 0.01. The particle position will be still closer. Reduce it to 0.0001. It will be still closer to the point P. If you are reducing the time interval to 0.000001, means almost you are approaching the time interval to 0, but not exactly equal to 0. That is the meaning of time interval tending to 0, not exactly equal to 0. If you are reducing the time interval to very small value, infinitesimal small value of time interval, then the point P dash will be almost lying very close to P. So in that case, if you draw, suppose this is a V1 vector and this is a final vector, say some other vector B dash, which is very close to this, you cannot distinguish those vectors. Almost they will be lying one over the other, almost, but still one can find out the corresponding change in velocity vector. That corresponding change in velocity vector will be very small. So this is what we defined as limiting value of change in velocity by change in time as time interval tends to 0. That gives us dv by dt, that gives us instantaneous acceleration. So if you look at the diagram, so delta v3, look here, the delta v3 gives us, if you draw parallel to this, so this is delta v3. That is the direction of average acceleration. Delta v2 is the direction of average acceleration here. Delta v1 is the direction of average acceleration a1. So here the average acceleration delta v by delta t becomes this one. That itself becomes the direction of instantaneous acceleration, because this is delta v. I have drawn parallel to that delta v. That is a vector. Means the average acceleration is in the direction of change in velocity vector, delta v vector. So instantaneous acceleration vector is also in the direction of that v. So finally we define vector A, instantaneous acceleration vector A, as equal to limiting value of average acceleration as time interval tends to 0. That is, meaning of that is ratio of dv to dt. That is infinitesimal change in velocity. Infinitesimal change in velocity for infinitesimal small change in time. That is what we call as instantaneous acceleration. dv by dt, meaning of dv by dt, remember once again, it is the ratio of infinitesimal small change in velocity to the infinitesimal small change in time. That's why it is denoted by dv by dt. So I think you got the difference between delta v by delta t and dv by dt. Delta v by delta t is considerable change in the velocity to the corresponding considerable change in time, whereas dv by dt is infinitesimal change in velocity divided by corresponding infinitesimal change in time. That gives us instantaneous acceleration. So the meaning of instantaneous acceleration is the acceleration value at that instant of time. That is the another meaning of instantaneous acceleration. Instantaneous acceleration means acceleration at given instant of time. This is the meaning of instantaneous acceleration. I think you got the meaning of instantaneous acceleration. Now, as we have done yesterday, we can also find out the components of this acceleration. Look here. Finally, we got acceleration A equal to dv vector by dt, and the direction of A vector is in the direction of dv vector. Okay. Now we have, as we got yesterday, vector v equal to vx I cap plus vy j cap. Vx I cap plus vy j cap. Let us substitute this. If you substitute this in this equation, we get A vector is equal to d by dt of vxi plus vyj. D by dt of vxi plus vyj distributive property. Take this d by dt to vxi first, then plus d by dt to vyj. So that becomes dvx by dt I cap plus dvy by dt j cap. So this becomes acceleration vector A equal to, so this I can call x component of acceleration, ax I cap plus y component of acceleration, ay j cap. So this gives us the components of acceleration. So vector A is again written in the component forms as vector A is equal to axi plus ayj. Again, if you want to find out the magnitude of acceleration, by definition, magnitude of acceleration is modulus of vector A equal to square root of ax square plus ay square. This gives us magnitude of acceleration. In the same way, direction. This is magnitude. Direction is given by tan theta equal to ay by ax. Again recall, if this is vector A, if you draw the components for vector A as ax and ay is perpendicular component, ax is horizontal component. So opposite by adjacent gives us tan theta. Therefore theta is equal to tan inverse of ay by ax. Tan inverse of ay by ax. So this is how we define instantaneous acceleration, its magnitude and its direction by angle theta. Okay, now we are going to solve a problem of finding velocity vector and acceleration vector. Okay, before we go for solving this problem, let me conclude one thing. Tangent drawn at the point of a curved path gives us velocity vector. Remember this. Tangent drawn at the point on the curved path in the direction of motion of the particle gives us velocity vector. Whereas the perpendicular drawn to that tangent gives us direction of acceleration vector. That is evident from the previous discussion. You draw the diagram, then you will realize that velocity vector and acceleration vector, they are perpendicular to each other. Tangential direction, velocity vector, perpendicular to that tangential direction gives us acceleration vector. Okay, fine. Now let us see the position of a particle. Here position of a particle is given by an equation 3ti plus 2t square plus 5k. Once again, vector r is equal to 3t I cap plus 2t square j cap plus 5k in meter. This position is given in meters. Means the position is function of time t. As time changes, the position also changes. Where t is given in seconds and r is in meters. Okay. Find the velocity vector and acceleration vector. Solution. Given equation for position vector. Vector r is equal to 3ti plus 2t square j plus 5k. Now if you differentiate this with respect to time t, we get velocity vector. We know that velocity vector is equal to dr vector by dt. It means differentiating, I am writing in short, differentiating with respect to time t. That is the meaning of dr by dt. The meaning of this operation is dr by dt. That's equal to d by dt of 3t I cap. Directly I am writing. First you have to write what is r here, then you have to apply the distributive property. Next step is d by dt of 2t square j cap plus d by dt of 5k cap. As you remember earlier what we have used, the standard equation for differentiation. Standard equation for differentiation, suppose x is a function of time t such that x is equal to t raised to n. Suppose x is t raised to n. Then dx by dt, if you differentiate this with respect to time t, we get the result n into x raised to n minus 1. This is the standard result that you are supposed to use here. Now in the first case, here it is 3 times t, that is 3t raised to 1. I can write it as 3t raised to 1. Next it is 2t square, where n takes the value 2 t square. Next it is constant 5k. Here 5 can be written as 5t raised to 0. 5 can be written as 5t raised to 0 into k. Means t raised to 0, anything raised to 0 gives us 1. So you are writing this as good as 5 into 1. So I can write it as 5 into t raised to 0 k cap. Now you apply this formula. So I get d by dt of, I will write the result directly now. So 3 is the coefficient, write it as this, t raised to 1. 1 into t raised to 1 minus 1. So 1 into t raised to 1 minus 1 becomes 1 into t raised to 0. So t raised to 0 is 1. So 3 into 1. 3 into 1 I cap plus 2 is the coefficient, keep it as it is. Here n takes 2, t raised to 2. So differentiation of t raised to 2. dx by dt for t raised to 2 becomes 2t raised to 2 minus 1, where it is dt square by dt. If you differentiate this dt square by dt, you will get 2 into t raised to 2 minus 1, which is nothing but 2t. So I get the result 2 into 2t j cap as this, plus differentiation of constant becomes 0. Why it becomes 0? Look here, I have written 5 into t raised to 0. It is as good as 5 into 1. So if you differentiate t raised to 0, see, n takes the value 0. So 0 into t raised to 0 minus 1. So 0 multiplied by anything is 0. So differentiation of constant is 0. That's how you get third term, differentiation of constant becoming 0. Thus we get 3i cap plus 2 2s are 4t j cap. That's it. So this is velocity, which is still function of time t. Velocity is a still function of time t. The next question is to calculate acceleration. So we know that just now we have studied acceleration is equal to dv by dt, rate of change of velocity, time rate of change of velocity, that is dv by dt. Again we want to dv by dt, so differentiating this with respect to time t, again differentiating this with respect to time t again, look here. So d by dt of 3 I cap plus d by dt of 4t j cap. So this is very clear. So differentiation of constant, as we did here, 0. So differentiation of constant becomes 0. 0 plus 4t, 4 into t raised to 1. So again we get differentiation of 4 into t raised to 1, we get 4. So 4 j cap. So thus we get acceleration a is equal to 4 j cap meter per second square. It means 4 j cap, what does it mean? Acceleration is along y axis. Acceleration is along y direction. So directed along positive y-axis. This is the meaning of acceleration. Now we'll go to the next part, B. Okay. Now magnitude of velocity we have to find out. Okay, before that, what is the velocity at time t equal to 2 seconds? What is the velocity at time t equal to 2 seconds? We got velocity as a function of time t as equal to 3 I cap plus 4 into t j cap. So velocity at 2 seconds, at time t equal to 2 seconds. Put t equal to 2, that's it. 3 I cap plus 4 to the 8 j cap. So that 3 I cap plus 8 j cap is the velocity vector at 2 seconds. But you see the part B, this complete solution is part A. Now part B, what is the magnitude of velocity? Magnitude of velocity vector is given by at t equal to 2 seconds. Okay, we got this. Magnitude of v vector is given by square root of vx square plus vy square. That's it. So just substitute vx and vy values. We get square root of 3 square, that is 9, plus 8 square, that is 64. Therefore magnitude of v becomes equal to square root of 73. 64 plus 9, 73. 8 8s are 64, 9 9s are 81. So it is in between 8 and 9. So if you exactly calculate, it comes out to be 8.54 meter per second. So this is the magnitude value of the velocity vector. Magnitude of the acceleration vector is 4 meter per second square acting along positive axis. This is magnitude of velocity vector. Then the second question is, what is the direction of velocity vector? Direction. Direction is always with respect to x-axis. Direction of velocity vector. So using this main equation, tan theta equal to, as we have defined earlier, Vy by Vx. So Vy by Vx gives us 8 by 3. So 8 by 3 comes out to be 3 to the 6. 2 remains. 3 6 is 18. 3 6 is 2.66. 3 6 is 18. Yes. Therefore, theta is equal to tan inverse of 2.66. If you refer the natural tangent from the tables of natural tangents, we get the value almost equal to 70 degree. 69 point something. Almost we are getting 70 degree with x-axis. So the direction of velocity vector is about 70 degree with respect to x-axis. This gives us the direction of velocity vector. So like this, you will get number of problems based on calculation of velocity vector and acceleration vector. Refer any reference books, whatever you have. Refer the internet also. You will get number of questions. Please solve them. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. Thank you. Have a good day.